Hello, my biddies. How are you today? Obviously, still coughing, but not as bad. Um, I'll probably cough for another month, probably. It is much better though, promise. So, how about that meal the hockey boys got? McDonald's. Have a freaking chef. Why are they not getting a good meal? It's ridiculous. Somebody's trying to justify going, "Oh, yeah, it's a good cheat meal for athletes that have been in training." Like, dude, they're still in training. You realize professional hockey's still happening, right? So dumb. I guess like 5 of them didn't go. Oh, and the girls, they got to go out to eat with Stanley Tucci, who is, by all accounts, the nicest guy ever, and he's a foodie, so he knows his foods, and it was in Milan, so you know it was good. And the girls turned down, going to the White House, and I don't blame them because who wants to say have McDonald's with a misogynist? I don't. I wouldn't. So I'm very busy this weekend. So I don't know if I'll get to sister wives or not. Can't promise anything. I'm gonna do my regular monthly stuff today, which I probably shouldn't. Sucks. My schedule sucks right now. Too many things to do. I've been doing lots and lots of laundry. Lots and lots of laundry. It's so freeing to have a laundry machine that actually works. Just saying. That thing has messed up for a year at least. And before that, even before that, it was bad because it was rusty and couldn't leave anything in it for a minute. Without getting it ruined. Ruined a really nice top that I loved. It's got rust stains all over it because of light. So mad. I threw it out yesterday. So mad. I tried to revive it and it was not happening. So I have to go buy me a new nice shirt to wear to like weddings and stuff. That will go with my one skirt. One skirt. That's it. You will not catch me in it very often. I do not wear dresses or skirts. I'm a pants and shorts girl. Preferably, preferably sweatpants at home. All right, so I guess we'll just get into it since I'm late anyways. We'll start with Mother-in-Laws from Hell, and it is entitled Mill did not like hearing she's second. Like, did she think she was still first? Did she really think she was still first? Because that seems weird to me. As a mother in law, my husband is visiting his family while we are long distance. He went to dinner with them at their usual restaurant where the staff knows them well. The server was excited to see him and said, "Your mom misses you so much." And he replied, "I miss my wife." Proper answer, sir. Proper answer. Green flags for green flags for hubby. Green flags all around. The server left and said, "Yes, but your mom comes first." No, she doesn't. She does not. Wife comes first, then mom. Without hesitation, he calmly says, "No, my wife comes first, my mom is after." The shift was immediate. Mom's expression changed right after he said it. The rest of dinner felt tense and uncomfortable. When they got home, she stopped speaking to him completely. No eye contact, no response, just silence. If he walked toward a doorway, she would close it a little too firmly before he reached it. Cabinets were shut harder than necessary. Dishes were placed down with just enough force to make a point. Small, deliberate movements meant to communicate anger without saying a word. This went on for hours. All he said is because he said his wife comes first. She cannot hold on to her son forever. Marriage is not a competition, but to her, it feels like losing. Sounds like a mother in law problem because your husband's fine. This is not for once a husband problem. This is a mother-in-law problem. She needs to get over it. I would be so angry if someone says that your mom comes first and no, I don't. I come after his wife and his kids. I am an afterthought, and that's fine. It should be that way. Happy Liaison has the top comment, and it says, "This blows my mind. There is zero doubt in my mind that son's wife is his number one priority in everything. I'd be pissed at him if she wasn't. I raised my children to be able to be on their own and thrive through life. I'm not supposed to be his number one anymore. I also know that he loves me deeply. I just can't imagine thinking that there is some kind of competition going on. This mother-in-law is simultaneously pushing her son away and putting a wall between her and her daughter-in-law. Exactly. Is that what you want? Because that's going to be the end result. I'm lucky that I adore my daughter-in-law. We have a great relationship. It would be difficult if our personalities clashed. Even then, as long as my son is truly happy, I'm responsible for my relationship with my daughter-in-law and how I treat her. I'm not going to lose my relationship with my child because I can't get along with his wife." Unusual primary answers. My mother-in-law saw me as competition for her favorite son. My own mother passed when I was in high school. It still makes me sad for how different relationship might have been if she didn't view me as a threat. That's really sad. I had a wonderful mother-in-law. She raised 7 wonderful people. Oopsie Daisy says, "Can you be my mother-in-law?" Second top comment is from Spiritual Beings says, "Husband is correct. Wife comes first, but the waiter is an asshat for making the situation awkward in the first place." Yes. No tip for you, sir. OP says his family is very good at maintaining a public image. They are sociable and charismatic in public. In private, it's very different. No one communicates openly with each other. So they're all about the looks. All about the looks, about the looks. I love Juno says, "But for the server to stay mom comes first, she had that server train." WTF. Ugh. What an awful mother-in-law. I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. I'm glad I don't have to. This is from What Should I Do? And it's entitled "More Weird Traces of Someone in the House, but my parents are not worried as me still. I feel crazy like Van Gogh." 6 months ago, I posted a photo of weird footprints on my couch after getting back from a trip. But eventually, my parents chalked it up to my dad stepping on it to kill a wasp at the window, just forgetting he did that. But now there are more unexplained traces of a person being here. My parents and I have just gotten back from a trip again, and my mom, who's been out of town for months, told me she found a weird pantry liner thing with some hair on it and some faint red stains on her new sheets. She is postmenopause, and no one has been in her room since she left months ago for work. Thing is, I don't know how it could be a squatter because our house is so small. No attic, no basement. No one is as freaked out as I am. I'm just a teenager, so I have no authority. What do I do? That is weird. Oh, yeah. You can kind of see the little stains. Last time we had a situation like this, if you remember, turned out the neighbor was coming into the house unannounced and unwanted. The stains are right about here. I hope you can see my arrow. I don't know if you can. Oh, that's uncomfortable. That does not look like a grown man's foot. Why would he be shoeless? Is his name Shoeless Joe? I don't know. Wander SA says, "So if your parents aren't concerned about this, at least one of them knows what's going on." Method Downtown says, "Jesus should be at the top," and it now is. Second toe is longer than the first in the footprint. Does that match your dad's foot? That matches lots of people's feet. Not my feet, but a lot of people's. Beneficial shape says it's your dad having an affair. And exact comparison answers exactly what I'm thinking. Pop says a side gig going on. It's possible. That's a possibility. I wonder if we have an update yet, because this has been up since December. No, this was in January. I don't know why it says 2 months ago. Only 1 month ago. Nope, no. No updates that I can see. Hmm. No updates. No idea what's going on. Dad's stepping out. Does mom know dad's stepping out and don't care? It's possible. Things do happen. Next, we have malicious compliance. My boss insisted we cut out the middleman and save 15%, so I let him handle the logistics of a 40-foot container. I work as a purchasing manager for a mid-sized home goods retailer. We have used the same domestic importer for our seasonal decor for 5 years. They charge a markup, but they handle the customs, the quality checks, and the shipping, so it's hassle-free. Hassle-free is worth a lot of money to me. Should have been how my dryer was. My new director of operations is convinced that he is a business genius. He called a meeting last month and lectured me about how we are hemorrhaging money by using a local distributor. He told me to cancel our contract for the holiday shipment and go direct to the source. I warned him. I told him that dealing with freight forwarders, tariffs, and the border delays is a full-time job. He told me I was just being lazy. He actually said, "Just get me the contacts, I'll close the deal myself." Okay, buddy. So I did. I spent a few days on Alibaba compiling a list of legitimate Chinese manufacturing companies that produce glass ornaments. I handed him a spreadsheet with 20 factory contents, their MOQ, minimum order quantity, requirements, and the time zones differences. I sat back and watched the show. He realized that FOB, what's FOB? Price does not include shipping to our warehouse. He wired money to a supplier but forgot to hire a customs broker, so the shipment got flagged by CBP, Customs and Border Patrol. The container sat for port for 10 days because he did not understand what ISF filing was. I don't know what ISF filing is. The demurrage fees for not moving the container alone cost more than the 15% he was trying to save. Came to my desk yesterday looking incredibly humbled and asked if I still had the phone number for our old importer. Yeah, something you don't do very often takes more time and more effort and more money usually than hiring somebody who knows what they're doing and can do it easily and quickly and knows who to talk to. Contacts are important. Human Leon says, I mean, fair play to him for recognizing his mistake and coming back to you. Yes. Yeah, that's cool. We learn the most expensive lessons the best. Skybridge says, I was going to say, normally most of these stories end up with the boss doubling down, but this guy seemed to realize what he was up against. But the next person says, only because it cost him money, though, which is a fair point. An Asimovian. Oh, I like that. Asimovian. My entire job is being that middleman, except for frozen foodstuffs. That demurrage or any regulatory errors will absolutely kill you. It's a whole different ballgame compared to domestic logistics. Definitely something where you want someone who does it as their job running the show versus trying to figure it out as you go. Like I said, he said exactly what I said. Having somebody that knows what they're doing is worth money. It's worth 15% probably. It's at least worth 10. A street in Macau, towering building in the back is the Grand Lisboa Hotel Casino. And this was apparently from 2018. It is the Leaning Tower of Macau, apparently. That does not look safe. I'm sorry. How? How do people live there? That's so weird. I don't get it. I don't get it. Do you get it? Because I don't get it. Oops. So Fantastic says inside the Grand Lisboa, which is the hotel. It looks more blingy than futuristic, but the rooms are pretty cool with these window frames. I do have like oh, okay. They got pictures. This is their so that's what it looks like from a distance. So this is the part you saw that looked like it was leaning. Um, looks different in that picture to me. Where's the interiors? There we go. Oh yeah, that's very blingy. That's very, very blingy. Why did you do that on yours? It's weird. I mean, it looks cool. Looks like somewhere Trump would stay for sure. Now that looks futuristic. That looks like it's straight out of Star Trek. I could get on board with that. The Dome, Robocan Dome restaurant. That's a neat view. 8 restaurant. Okay, that fish is scaring me. Noodle and Kongi restaurant. Kitchen restaurant. It has a lot of restaurants. Kitchen restaurant of Don Alfonso, 1890 restaurant. There's a deluxe corner room. It has 430 rooms. Lakeview room. A spa. It's a 2-story spa. And it has a pool. Weird. Alrighty then. Somebody really liked the picture with this fish. That looked like it was going to eat you. It's a goldfish, but it looks like a shark. All right, next we have AITAH, and it is entitled AITAH for only doing the bath minimum when I got roped into babysitting. I think they meant bear, but you can't change post titles on Reddit. Seems like you should be able to. My sister, 38, invited me over for a family meal. Our parents were there too. After dinner, my mom and I helped clean up while my dad and brother-in-law watched my nieces and nephews. Afterwards, my parents left, and then my sister and brother-in-law asked me if I could watch the kids for an hour while they went out for a quick errand, and I agreed, as one does. I got very dressed up for errands, but I didn't ask. They've done this before. I didn't usually have anything going on, so I don't really mind. Today was clear. I had plans. 1 hour was my limit. My sister agreed to 1 hour. After an hour, I called and she didn't answer. Half an hour later, I texted my friends that I couldn't make it. Then I proceeded to keep the kids alive. I felt I owed her that as a family. No, you don't. She had a 1 hour limit. She knew it. She knew it and she abused you. Ooh, almost dropped my, almost killed my mouse. Did I put them to sleep? Nope. Did I make them snack rather than let them use the stove? Yes. Did I keep the little one from drawing on the walls while his older brother played Fortnite and the middle kid watched Stranger Things with me? Nope. I kept them alive. My sister got home a little after 1 p.m. I don't say how long that was. Nephew's still playing Fortnite. Middle kid and I were still binging Stranger Things. Little was passed out on their bed. I got up and left. I've been hearing about it for a few days and how irresponsible I am. She's not irresponsible. You were supposed to be back in an hour. You weren't. Her responsibility ended at the hour. At 12 is too young for such a scary show. It might be for some kids, and it's not going to be for others. That my nephew has limited screen time. Well, you should have been home to take care of that, huh? And they still haven't got the drawings off the walls. Well, I guess you have some new art, though, too. My parents are getting involved as well. I really don't care. I was told 1 hour. I agreed to 1 hour. I felt I did a great job for 1 hour. Not really my problem after that. So 4 people think I'm being an a-hole. The 3 kids had a great night, and I think they won't try it again. It's Bilbo bitch. It's Bilbo bitch. Says NTA. In fact, so NTA that I really don't know how your parents could be getting involved without immediately taking your side. NL Jane says because sister got her version of the story first. That's the thing. You always have to be the first one to tell the story because people will not change their minds no matter what. No matter what, they do not change their minds very easily. Contradicting information just does not work, especially now, right now. Shashmi says, at one point when I was a kid, I saw my little brother take a steak knife to the armchair my parents had reupholstered in Naugahyde. When I yelled at him to stop, my mom hollered from the kitchen, quit yelling at your brother. She wouldn't listen to me about what he was doing, so I quit yelling at him, and he made several cuts in the armchair. She was beside herself when she saw the damage. My attitude was, you told me to shut up, and I did. Best malicious compliance ever. OP says, that is excellent. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do in that situation other than let it happen? Yeah, don't put little kids in charge of other little kids. It does not work well. I was expect to keep my little sisters out of the road. I was 6. I wasn't paying attention to them. They ended up getting in the road. Is it really my fault that my mother could not keep an eye on her 2-year-olds? Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled, It's Time to Have a Conversation About Doorbell Camera Etiquette. Oh, I don't know. It seems like everyone has a doorbell camera these days, but me. I don't have to because my next door neighbor has one and we share a porch since we live in a duplex. The trouble is the woman who lives next door is using her doorbell camera as a way to know when I'm outside so she can bother me, and she's totally inappropriate. Well, just that's not a doorbell camera thing, that's a neighbor thing. If she didn't have the doorbell camera, she'd still know when you were leaving. Her family is a total disaster. The 4 small children cream and kick the walls and have temper tantrums from about 6 a.m. to as late as 11:30 on a regular basis. She lacks the cognitive skills and critical thinking to come up with positive parenting strategies, so she just yells. They are chaos. At least she's just yelling. Anyhow, I'm sure you can imagine the last person I want bothering me when I'm outside is that woman and her screaming kids. But every time I took my dog outside to do his business, she'd come outside with her kids to chit chat, and despite repeated firm requests to the mother for the kids to keep their distance from my leashed dog, they're shoving their faces in his and overwhelming him. My poor dog is trying to take a crap in peace, and I think he has the right to do so without small children over him. The woman doesn't say anything but be gentle to the doggy. So I told her I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and I'm on a low dose of chemotherapy that weakens my immune system. So I'm trying to stay away from people, especially school-age children, who are just germ factories, by the way, and still didn't get the hint to quit coming outside for no other reason than to start talking to me. You need to gray rock this person. The other totally unacceptable thing she's done is come outside and ask if she can borrow money. Ask if she can borrow money? No. And to say, my daughter, 6 years old, keeps pooping on the carpet. Do you have one of those little carpet cleaners I can borrow? Dude, your 6 year old's pooping on the carpet. There are problems. There are problems, and you need to address them. I do own one, but I flat out lied and told her no, I don't own one. That's good. No, you do not want this woman taking your stuff. There were times when I was on the phone and she could clearly see I was on the phone and would just stand there and stare at me as if she was expecting me to end my call and talk to her. One time I asked her, I'm sorry, do you need to tell me something important? She just said, oh no, I came to visit. I said, I'm on the phone. She just stared at me and finally went inside. This woman can't take a hint either. I finally had enough and told her very plainly. I heard my phone going off. I thought it was in here, but it's not. I finally had enough and told her very plainly, paraphrased, that I can't stand the constant noise and it's miserable living next to her family. My sons and I can't even sit at our kitchen table and enjoy a meal because of the screaming and to stay away from me when I'm outside because I'm not her friend. I'm not a mean person. Everybody's a mean person once in a while. It's okay. Sometimes it's called for. But she failed to get the hint for 6 months that I don't want to be friends or have conversations with her and her screaming children while my dog takes a crap. I think there should be an unspoken rule if you live in a shared community like a duplex apartment or condo or townhouse. Don't use it as a surveillance tool to keep tabs on your neighbors, just going about your business. That's not going to matter. She could get rid of the camera and she'd still be the same way. Trust me, she sees your dog outside. She's coming outside. And she's bringing all the kids. All of the kids. Neighborly interaction should be limited to chance encounters at the mailbox or bringing out the trash. Am I right? I mean, you've told her plainly that you're not interested in her life, so bug off. Nothing more you can do. And no, I mean, you may want there to be an unspoken rule, but nobody that is like this woman is gonna abide by that. Joe Mick says on the dog situation, one solution would be to take him for a short walk rather than bring him to your front yard. And OP says, I wish I could, but I have an autoimmune disease that attacks my joints and tendons. I'm currently on a low dose of chemo to knock down my immune system, and it drains my energy. I also have to avoid direct sunlight because of the chemo. All of that could be true. Now my son takes my dog out, and on days I have little energy, we walk my dog. A little energy, we walk my dog together. This woman knows I'm on chemo and need to stay away from school children, and she doesn't care. That sounds like a bad situation. Maybe you need to move. I moved because of bad neighbors before, and then I got good neighbors, and then I got bad neighbors. Let's take that back. I moved because not only because of the bad neighbors, but I was so happy to get away from the bad neighbors. And then they ended up moving before us, but we were still going to move. And then I got okay neighbors, and then I got bad neighbors. And now I have good neighbors. And it's so much more peaceful having good neighbors that don't call the cops on your kids and stuff or tell you your child's driving like a maniac when he is not, as attested to by his sister. And from what I've seen, it was his friends. Like, I can tell him, but I can't make him. I said, well, that's not my kid because the truck they described. I said, and I can tell him, but I'm not his parent. Next is benign existence and is entitled, my husband likes to make what he calls more food per food. Oatmeal cooked with oat milk for more oats per oat. Packet of hot cocoa mixed with heated chocolate milk for more cocoa per cocoa. Cool ranch Doritos dipped in ranch dressing for more ranch per ranch. I started making more oats per oat for my breakfast and no other reason than it makes me giggle. That's funny. I love that. That's cool. Riverbird says I had oatmeal with oat milk this morning. More oat per oat is way funnier than wondering if it's an oat overload. Oh no, she said oatverload. Oatverload. That's hard to say. Oatverload. Try it. Euphoric replacement answers. I do this with iced coffee. Freeze extra coffee in ice cubes. Then it doesn't dilute your drink. More coffee per coffee. The next cop comment is this makes me extremely happy. It's so silly and it makes so much sense at the time. Also, I've been meaning to do that oats with oat milk, but more of a form of getting away with a possible crime angle. More oats per oat. This is from Found Satan, entitled The Devil is Lurking Everywhere. It's, I don't know. My bonus structure is based on tickets I closed. Yesterday, a coworker's keyboard stopped working. He filed a ticket. Instead of replacing it, I stole the keyboard from the receptionist's desk and gave it to him. Now the receptionist filed another ticket. My keyboard is missing. The more tickets I close, the bigger my bonus. I'm plugging my manager's printer next. Oh, don't make incentives if you're not willing to pay the piper. I swear this is how ICE is working. They're picking up people, keeping them for a while, a few days, a few weeks, a few months, letting them go just so they can scoop them up again and get a bigger bonus because they get a bonus for everybody they arrest. Not to mention they're arresting Americans, people here, refugees, and killing them because they let them out in the middle of the snow. Nice, thank you. Middle of winter in Maine. I think it was Maine. Not a blind guy who is a refugee and doesn't speak English out in the middle of winter, and he died. That's pure murder to me. That's just murder. Did not see this. Says his first cop comment. Shady auto mechanics have been doing this for years. I had a timing belt replaced, and the next thing I knew, my AC didn't work. Found the wire to the AC compressor disconnected. Also, the power steering felt off. I found a wire to the power steering pump disconnected. Wow. I would report them. Lorick says it reminded me of this passage from Discworld. Shortly before the patrician came to power, there was a terrible plague of rats. The city council countered it by offering 20 pence for every rat tail. This did for a week or two reduce the number of rats. Then people were suddenly queuing up with tails. The city treasury was being drained and no one seemed to be doing much work. And there still seemed to be a lot of rats around. Lord Vintneri had listened carefully while the problem was explained and had solved the thing with one memorable phrase, which said a lot about him, about the folly of bounty hunters and about the natural instinct of Morporkians in any situation involving money. Tax the rat farms. This is from Just No Mill, entitled I Am Floored. My husband ran into his mother this morning in town. We have little contact with her, mainly to keep in touch with his father and brother. For contact, she's never respected boundaries, plays the victim, and has narcissistic tendencies, but today may have taken the cake. While we are also all white living in the South, you'll see why this matters. It started as a normal conversation of how the baby is, what we've been up to, etc. Then she brought out how my gay uncle was at Christmas. Weird, but okay. This turned out to her blatantly asking my husband if he would rather our 10-month-old daughter be a lesbian or date a black guy. I don't care about either of those things. Thank you. Weird question, ma'am. My husband said he was too stunned to speak. It took a minute, and then very calmly he says, "You've always been disrespectful, but using racism and homophobia to sexualize our infant daughter has crossed a line you may never come back from." Then he threw in for funsies that hopefully she's with a black lesbian and left the store without buying anything. Oh, I didn't even think about that angle. That'd be great. We're going to be going non-contact as of now, but need to share because WTF. I hope she's with black lesbian. My brain don't work that fast. Good for you, guy. Green flags for this guy. Education track says we'd rather she just never see you again. Badger Mushroom says your husband is a star. Please let us random strangers are celebrating him and your mother-in-law. WTF indeed. And that Cambor- Pandora says your husband is a true gem. Yeah, green flags for that guy. He has it all wrapped up. Nice guy. I like him. Can we be friends? This is from Rita Hall, and it says this resonated with me. And I agree with this completely, 100%. There's no good reason why cashiers shouldn't be allowed to sit down, or anyone else for that matter, unless your job includes running around like a nincompoop. As someone with leg disabilities, I could probably leverage this via ADA with some reasonable accommodation, but then comes the question of, is it reasonable for me? Why can't it be reasonable for everyone? This is obviously an Aldi because they do have their cashiers sit down. Okay, Spell says we occasionally get someone making snide comments about how nice it must be for us to sit around all day instead of working. Instead of working, the Aldi cashiers do not sit down around and instead of working. They're often not even at the cash register because they're off working, and they get to come back and sit down for a minute while they scan your groceries. I haven't yet, but I always wanted to ask them if they make the same comments when they sit in an office. Dancing Skeleton Man says, exactly. I've never gone to a doctor, dentist, or accountant's office in my life and seen them all sitting down and then thought, oh, gee, look at you all sitting down at work, so lazy. I swear the less money you make, the more public views you as worthy of looking down on. That's true. Judging, calling you lazy if you dare to take a 2-second breather between customers and cleaning stocking. The more money you make, the more professional your job is seen, and the more people won't judge you or they will not blink an eye at you for sitting down. Talking to coworkers like normal human beings who get along, taking a break once in a while during lulls in the office business. I've seen it repeated so many times online and in person that fast food and retail is unskilled, lazy work. Excuse me? Yeah, fast food and retail is not lazy at all. Those people work. I see more retail people running around like chickens with their heads cut off doing the job of 5 people while serving people and all the other tasks of the building. Dealing with rushes while being expected to smile the entire time and talk in retail voice, lest they get accused of being tired, lazy, or not doing their job. And yes, white people can be dicks to office workers too. Trust me, I've seen it when they are more forgiving of them sitting down, being human and having human needs. Need a drink of water in retail or a bathroom break? Ew, don't show me you have human needs. How gross. Get back to work. Do your job, slave. And stand on your feet the entire time. At attention for us, too. I don't care if it disables you one day. You deal with that pain now until it drives you to chronic pain. God, you people are so lazy. Great Newbie says, I will admit I have a standing desk at work and I have never stood at it. I have a standing desk right here and I have never stood at it. I did have a standing desk at work and occasionally I stood at it, but I was also like running around with a chicken with my head cut off sometimes, and it was easier to type standing up and race off to get the next key than it was to um than it was to sit down and back up all day. It was just easier. But most people don't need to do that. Probably should do it because it's probably healthier for you to stand up a little bit, but most people won't. Although I did have a coworker that the man did not like to sit at all, so he rigged a standing desk for himself in his office. None of the rest of us stood it. They really should have gotten him a adjustable standing desk. That would have been nice. He was there a long time. He deserved it. Next, we have infuriating, and it is entitled Leaked Footage Showing That MAGA Business Owners Are Keeping Workers in Slavery, Threatening to Send Them to ICE if they don't cooperate. Charlotte, North Carolina, date unknown. Wow. There is a video. Gotta share.
Mi gente, nos están forzando, nos están obligando a trabajar. Estamos aquí en Charlotte,
We're
North
here in Charlotte,
Carolina.
North Carolina.
Estamos trabajando
We are working.
a cambio de comida.
Wow. Food.
El gabacho, el dueño
The
de la
owner of the
propiedad,
property
nos tiene
threatened
amenazados.
us.
Nos tiene amenazados de echarnos inmigración.
Send us out
Y
to
estamos
migration and we
trabajando
are working
gratis.
for free.
Nos tienen secuestrados
We are being
adentro de una
held
bodega.
hostage inside a cell.
Queremos que toda la
We want all
gente
people to
se dé cuenta de lo que
realize
está
what is
pasando aquí con
happening here with
nosotros.
us.
Nos tienen secuestrados adentro
We
de
are
una
being
bodega.
held
Nos
hostage
están
inside a
obligando a
cell.
trabajar gratis.
They're forcing us to work. Yes, yes, yes.
Necesitamos que alguien nos
We
ayude.
need someone to help us.
Estamos aquí
We are here.
obligados a trabajar gratis
Forced
a
to work
cambio
for
de
free in
comida
exchange for
por
food,
miedo a la
for
inmigración.
fear of
Por
immigration.
favor, alguien nos ayude.
Please, someone
Que
help
alguien
us.
haga una denuncia.
Someone make a
Por favor,
complaint.
necesitamos ayuda.
Else we need help. I don't know. Do you really want someone to come and help you? Because it's very likely that you might get picked up by ICE. I'm concerned. On the one hand, that shouldn't be happening. And on the other hand, I'd be afraid to get them investigated right now because ICE would come in and pick them up. It's a no-win situation. There's a Time article posted. What Donald Trump knew about undocumented workers at his signature tower. So he don't care. These guys are just being MAGA jerks about it. I mean, it might not be true, but it could be true. You don't know. Next, we have Am I the Devil? Dude is unemployed and does no childcare. Originally and true off my chest. Entitled My Wife Doesn't Understand Why I've Had to Take Sex and Specific Affections Off the Table and She's Upset. What? My wife and I had known each other for 8 years and we have a 5-year-old daughter. Ever since our daughter was born, my wife stopped feeling interested in sex. She's gotten her hormones checked at my request, but it seems she's honestly fine with not wanting it more than once a month. That's not unusual. Also, maybe she's asexual. People are. Even during that one time we have sex, she had to have a perfect day. Had to have me take some chores off her own plate and give her a nice dinner and tend to her. Lots of flirting throughout the day and lots of non-sexual affection. For even a chance of sex occurs, sometimes it doesn't happen. I try not to show it, but I am worn out trying to put her into a good mood and try to be perfect for a chance to have her to want to have sexy time with me. I don't think this is sustainable or realistic for me. I feel like I'm not doing it for the right reasons. I don't want to perform affection that doesn't feel real for me. Why are you married to someone you don't feel affection for? That seems weird. I want to hold her and hug my wife and make her life easy because I love her, not because I want something out of her. So do it because you love her. What is wrong with you, dude? And over the past few years, I've been doing it with other motives. I also want her to choose to want to have sex with me, not go along with it because I shoulder so much responsibility and making sure she had space or wouldn't happen. I would like to see if we take sex off the table and performing affection off the table, what the baseline of real intimacy is between us. I get that responsive desire is real, and for some people it's not easy to initiate to go for. But I'd like to not have to negotiate for sexual desire, to understand aspects of responsive desire a bit more responsibly. Okay, that made sense. What I mean to say is I'd like to not always be in charge of ensuring she had a good day enough to want sex. Well, it depends on how bad you want it, dude. I'd like it happening naturally. For example, she's had a good day without my intervention. I initiate affection because that specific expression of affection makes me feel good too. Good enough to want to share with her, and that turn in turn makes her want sex with me. I'm trying to say I want to do it for her alone and for her own sake alone. I expressed this to her. She's taking it completely wrong because to her, she hears no cutesy names throughout the day, multiple times a day, no massages twice a week, no breakfast in bed, no princess treatment by making her life easy, no indulging her moods needlessly. I keep saying that I just because I don't want to perform affection doesn't not mean it won't exist or that I'd stop doing special things for her. It seems like you would though. I just want to do it for the right reasons. I feel like and I feel if I feel like it too. Isn't it more special that way if it's real for me too? She disagrees. I keep telling her that what we have right now and trying to manage all of it for her is not healthy. I want to love her in ways that I feel authentic to me, and yes, even if it means I stop certain acts of affection on demand, I will. But that is a good thing in the long run. I don't think it's responsible of her to base her responsive desire on what I have to earn that desire. I don't want to earn it. I want it freely given to me by her choice. OP, not OOP, OP says, comments in previous posts reveal he's been unemployed for 2 months, yet his wife does all the childcare and most chores. Apparently, the stars have to align for her to want sex with him instead of just treating her like a person and helping her out and checks notes, being nice to the person you married. No wonder she doesn't want it. She's burnt out. She's tired. Devil Devil's Ivy Trail says he can only do chores and childcare if it arises for him, the natural desire that shouldn't be reactionary. He should also want to do it for himself as not as some kind of performance. Dude thinks he's a philosopher of intimacy, meanwhile, he can't get laid in his own marriage. Needs more coffee. Says no, not indulging her moods needlessly kind of says it all, doesn't it? He's doing nothing to help her out, and he's not working. Like, if he's not working, he should be doing the childcare and all the chores. That's what I do. Well, I don't do childcare anymore, but I still do all the indoor chores. My husband does the outdoor ones when he feels like. This is from Petty Revenge, and it's entitled, I Didn't Fight With My Neighbor, Mud Did. There was this woman living next door to my house. She had a big dog. Every morning, she used to let the dog loose near my side of the fence. Okay. So only my plants started getting damaged, soil everywhere, some flowers completely gone. At first, I thought maybe street or dog street dogs are kids, but one day I saw clearly her dog was digging near my plants while she was standing there on her phone. I told her very politely, she said, dogs do these things and laughed a little. After that, nothing changed. Dogs only do what you allow them to do, ma'am. I fixed the plants again, put small fence. Still, whenever her dog came out, somehow it ended up damaging my side. She never stopped it. So I stopped saying anything. Instead, I started watering my plants very early in the morning, extra water. The ground near the fence stayed muddy for hours. After a few days, her dog came again. This time it slipped in the mud and got fully dirty. She had to clean it, wash the floor, and everything. This happened more than once. After that, she stopped bringing the door near my side of the fence. My plants are fine now. I never said anything. She also never laughed again. Yeah, that's pretty good. You did good, OP. That's playing 4001 Q. That's 4001 Q play with zero consequences. Yes. Well, except maybe overwatering your plants, but a short time won't hurt them that much. Next we have AIT. Next we have Am I the Jerk? entitled AITJ for calling my friend's emergency contact when she left her kid with me for 20 minutes and vanished. No, absolutely not. My friend Kayla, 29 female, asked if I could watch her 6-year-old son for like 20 minutes while she ran to the store near my place. I said yes because I've known her for years and I watched him before. He's a good kid. She showed up, dropped him off with his tablet and his snack, and said she'll be right back. About 40 minutes later, I texted her simply, "Hey, everything okay?" No reply. Hour passes. I call, straight to voicemail. I start getting that hot panic feeling because I'm not his parent and I don't know what's going on. Her son starts asking when mom is coming back, and I'm trying to keep it light, like soon, bud, while I'm also refreshing my phone like a maniac. I texted again and then again, still nothing. At the 2 hour mark, I honestly scared something happened. I'm also pissed that this is not 20 minutes anymore. Understandable. You're worried and angry at the same time. I also had plans later, and I basically had been volunteered to childcare with no end. I finally looked at the little info card she left in her bag, emergency contact, pediatrician, stuff like that, and called the emergency contact, her older sister. I didn't call to get her in trouble. I called because I didn't know if Kayla was in a car accident or passed out or what. Her sister answered immediately and sounded confused and then went quiet. Wait, she told you 20 minutes? Apparently, Kayla had texted her earlier saying she was going to look at a car with the guy she'd been seeing and might be out a while. So she used me as free babysitter so she could go do this and just chose not to tell me. Her sister drove over and picked the kid up, and she was polite, but I could tell she was annoyed too. About 30 minutes after that, Kayla finally calls me furious, saying I embarrassed her and made her look like a bad mom. No, 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 ma'am. She did not make you look like a bad mom. You are a bad mom. She said her phone died and she lost track of time. I asked why she didn't plug it in or why she didn't just say she needed a couple of hours. She said because I would have said no and she really needed this. She also said I had no right to involve her family and now her sister is judging her. I'd be judging you too. I told her I'm not a drop off zone and I'm not comfortable being lied to about someone's kid. She's telling mutual friends I overreacted and that I'm dramatic for calling her sister instead of waiting. AITJ for calling the emergency contact when she disappeared. Absolutely not. Could have called the cops. If you have a kid that you've dropped off with someone, you better make sure your phone's charged. How else do people get a hold of you? And how do you forget your kid for 2 hours or more? 2, 3 hours? And how did the sister get a hold of her within half an hour if her phone was dead? Not believing her for a minute. First comment is from Sovereignty, and it says, "Poor kid. That's who suffers the most at the end of the day." Yeah, yeah. English Lore says everything when she admitted she lied. In case you said no, she's irresponsible and dishonest. Um, Let me tell you, she turned it off because she was getting railed. Most likely. Next, we have entitled people, and it is entitled Girlfriend's Parents Decide to Visit to Avoid the Storm of their state, demand to use my car and get master suite instead of the guest room. My girlfriend and I have been together nearly 2.5 years, and at that time, her parents have always been cold toward me. They live in the Midwest and are of the opinion that California is a cesspool and Los Angeles, where I live, even more so. Even if you don't like LA, don't judge people from LA because everybody's different. That your daughter is with this guy should be um, enough for you to accept him, at least until he does something he shouldn't. They decided that with an incoming snowstorm, they'd stay with us close to the ocean would be better for them. I got home from work yesterday and her parents taking a nap in the master bedroom, and were not happy when I kicked them out to the guest bedroom. They just walked in there and decided to lay down. That's weird. I went out for dinner Friday night and they are not happy with the quality, remarking they prefer Taco Bell or Chipotle. I'm sorry, what? I just tuned out the rest of the nights. This morning, after waking up, they asked to use my car for them to independently visiting tourist spots. I drive a modified Ford Focus RS. I'm not handing these people a 500 horsepower car. Dude, it's a Focus car. Calm down. Especially as neither of them have driven a stick shift over 30 years. I told them this and I offered to rent them a car as I get good rates through my employer. Nope. Not only was that not acceptable, they wanted my Focus to drive. They wanted to drive my 1967 Pontiac GTO. In that case, no ma'am, you are not driving that car. Sorry. No ma'am and no sir. I said it's their dream to drive a classic convertible up the Pacific Coast Highway to see the sights. Never mind the fact that PCH is practically burnt to a crisp until you get past Malibu. It was a hard no for me, and they reluctantly took the Camry I rented for them. This is going to be a really long 10 days. I don't think this has anything to do with snow. I think they just needed a vacation. This is just their vacation. And no, you should not have to give up your master bedroom for your parents-in-law. Books and Stars nerd says you're allowed to say no and even kick them out to a hotel. They can afford sightseeing and travel, but not a hotel. Also, girlfriend needs to be the one telling them off, setting boundaries, not you. Her circus, her monkeys. Flying Giggles Fly says, yeah, internet ain't the place to get relationship advice, but if everything here is 1000% true without a lick of context, you can't trust that person if they're enabling their parents to behave this way. Family relationships are as likely to be a vehicle for abuse as they are for support. There's a reason that the most likely person to abuse a child is someone they know or are related to. Somebody didn't like the Her Circus, Her Monkeys, and they're getting downvoted. Next is expectation versus reality. Copy it into another. So I can show you whilst I read. Help the enter button. Okay. Oops, I forgot to share it. Silly me. Pest 2 stencil versus reality. No, they didn't own up. So that is the stencil, I guess. And that's ew. That's what they got. Yeah, that does not seem kosher. Ninja Cyborg Studio in Barrie, Ontario, Canada. They didn't own up, instead reported views to have them deleted. It's my niece. I posted a link to her review, and I think there's been some confusion since the review was deleted. All of this happened in September, and the shop was given time to make it right, which they didn't do. My niece posted the review yesterday. I shared it here. It's been covered up by another artist. She has one more sitting left and is happy with the final outcome. The cover-up has been linked here by some good Reddit detectives. Thanks everyone for the support. She appreciated it. Second edit. I know some of you already found it, but the cover-up artist gave permission to post a link. Give the snick a lift. Oh, that's going to be much better. Yeah. That's much better. I mean, it could have been a good plain tattoo, but oh well, I guess. Yeah, it's really sad. That could have been really pretty, but they messed it up. Good thing there are better tattoo artists out there. Next, we have our real estate, and it is entitled Stunner No Notes. Um, it is from Rancho Mirage, California. Your bedrooms, no baths. It has no baths. How does it not have any baths? Oh, there's no. What? I'm confused. Hold on, let's start over. There's no pictures. That's bizarro. Luckily, there are pictures in that post itself. I guess we'll look at that. It's very modern. They even got the birdie in there. Oh, that's cool looking. It's very nice. I don't know how many pictures there are. Wonder if that was the wrong link. That's a very green bathroom. It's hard to have real grass in the desert. It's nice and low to the ground, so that would be better than being higher up in the desert like they are. Nice pool. Well, that's it. That's all we got. Top comment is shout out to the photographer for taking actual professional pictures. We know that, right? Let's see if I can find the actual listing based off of the. I found more pictures. There we go. Some of these are going to be the same, but there will also be more of them. Yeah, the pictures are really done well. So that's the actual house. What is this? That's nice. Kitchen is very galley. That is a small dining room. At least the width is. That's a cool photo right there. Do the fancy little roundy chairs come with it? Okay, I get to keep those. There it is at night. I mean, I don't know if it's for me, but it's not a bad house at all. The green is just killing me here. That is two Emerald City for me. Two Emerald City. We have the layout. Interesting. Oops. So it's 5 bedroom. It does have bathrooms. It has 4,000 square feet, and little over 3 and 3/4 acre lot. Built in 2024. That's a very new house. I thought that was going to be a little older than that. Um, it's a convection oven, dishwasher, disposal, electric cooktop, electric oven, electric range. Ready for the taxes? $21,294 a year. That's a lot of money. I just paid my taxes yesterday and wasn't nearly that much. Not even close. Next, we have confession. Is titled "I miscanned a recliner at a furniture store sale." There was a huge sale at this furniture store. I had to save up to finally get some stuff for my place. I misjudged how expensive things can be. Talk to me about it, honey. I really wanted this rocker for the nursery. When I took the sale tags up to the register, it was in the stack and didn't get rung up. After the loading dock they put in my car, I didn't correct them. I got $400 chair for free. I'm so worried they'll come after me. I don't know if I should go back once I get the money or just pretend it's okay. For clarification, I had saved up for a dining table and chair love seat. This was just an extra I had maybe wanted to get. Update. I went back and offered to pay for the chair. I did play a little dumb for mentioning how I got home and noticed the receipt didn't match. They said I was sweet for coming back and offering to pay for it that they took half off and I only had to pay $200. No one was fired. It just seemed happy that I came back. Well, that's nice. That's a good happy ending for that. No notes. Yeah, we've been looking at furniture for the basement. Oh, it's so expensive. So expensive. Interesting AF. Oh, I saw this one on the news. It's entitled He just needs some time to him. 1986, a man named Christopher Thomas Knight ran out of gas in rural Maine and retreated to the woods and lived there for 27 years without any human contact, except for the houses he was breaking into at the time. Because he was. That's how he was surviving. He was breaking into houses when people weren't there. To the point where people are like, stopped uh stopped locking their doors just to let him in to take whatever he needed. Oh. The ruffled feather says I read a book about this guy. He drove a Subaru Brat up to the mountains and kept driving into the wilderness until it ran out of gas, then set up a dwelling. He got food and water from nearby cabins, often unoccupied for most of the year. The ends he went to remain undiscovered were remarkable. For every cabin in the vicinity, he took the same route, step for step. His routes were determined by not stepping on soil, only rocks and tree roots, so that he never left prints that could be tracked. The cabin owners obviously knew someone was entering their cabins, but since he only took food and drink and no indication of who he was, or where he came from, or where he went, authorities were left scratching their heads. So that's how you do it, folks. You use rocks and tree roots and not the path. He'd tidy up and lock the door behind him. Some cabin owners were pretty upset and demanded the culprit be apprehended. Other cabin owners actually left extra food and supplies inside with written invitations to enjoy the cabin. He never stayed and left no trace. The man never even built a fire, afraid it would blow his cover, not once. Can you imagine living in Maine in the winter and not starting a fire somewhere? How does he not have like frostbite? In the state of Maine, he was eventually done in by motion activated cameras, technology that didn't even exist when he went into seclusion. A game warden followed him back to his camp and found him sitting on a bucket gazing up at the sky. Well, apparently he did burn propane, but not a fire. So I guess he did have a little bit of heat, but still. Like me a good fire once in a while. Next is from Am I the A-hole? AITA for skipping my own surprise birthday party once I found out it wasn't really for me. I've never been big on birthdays, don't get me wrong, I don't hate them. I just prefer something low key, dinner with closest friends, maybe watch a film, something small basically. Everyone close to me knows this, especially my sister. You read this. You read that yesterday. Why did that show up on today's? I'm confused. Excuse me, I have to go get another one because I know we read that yesterday. I have to fix things. Hit the wrong button. Let's do the 26th. Must have read two yesterday because I know we read this other one too. It happens sometimes. I'm not perfect. Luckily, we missed two this week, so um all right. From A Am I the A-hole? WIBTAH. If I asked my daughter's preschool teacher not not to put the extra clothes I sent for her on other students. No, they should be have their own stash of clothes. So my daughter started school last Wednesday, and the teacher asked us to send pull-ups, wipes, and a change of clothes for her. She start real school? What kind of school did she start? I sent a few pull-ups and a brand new pack of wipes and an outfit as requested. Only the bottoms of for her outfit came back. I saw another student from her dress wearing her shirt when I went to pick her up. I don't mind if the teacher needs to use some of my daughter's pull-ups for the other kids or even some of her wipes. I'll send extra of those if needed because I understand it's not what it's like to be a parent that can't provide that. However, when it comes to her clothes, I'm not okay with sharing. For starters, they get sent home on a kid like the shirt did, and then there's a chance that the school won't get it back. Oh no, there's every chance the school won't get it back. And clothes are really expensive, and I couldn't afford to replace them like that. In all, it pretty much boils down to the fact that my daughter doesn't really have that many clothes to begin with, so I can't really afford to get them ruined or for them to not get sent back. So I'm just curious if it would make me the a-hole if I talk to her teacher the next day that she goes to school, tell her that I'm not comfortable with her using clothes for other children. No, you would not be. That's completely wrong. You Those clothes are sent for your daughter. What if the other kid was allergic to the detergent you were using or something? No, that's just no. You don't do that. You don't know what could happen. Trust me, those rashes are not fun. My youngest son and I both have very sensitive skin, and you can't use other we have to use like no perfumes, no dyes, no anything detergent, which is expensive, more expensiver than the regular detergent and not as concentrated. I can use it on my shirts, but pants, nope, can't happen. GC Bill says that is so inappropriate. If the child had no clothes and school had no backup clothes, they phone the parent. They definitely should have taken another child's clothes. What would happen if they gave her clothes away and she had an accident and needed them? Exactly, that too. Megan, OP is NTA. Every school should have an extra set of clothes in the event a parent is unprepared. I had a student with a huge nosebleed one time. She got it all over her dress, which does happen. We gave her an oversized school shirt that fit like a dress, but it was better than nothing. It was one of those standard shirt blanks schools use with their custom logo, not a uniform per se. The expectation was the parent washes it, returns it to school when they're done. Yeah, exactly. No, not cool. Not cool giving a child's clothes to another child. Not cool at all. Um, this is from I Don't Work Here Lady, and it is entitled Wife Got Tagged in Walmart. At the weekend. At the weekend? That's what it says. At the weekend, my wife and I were doing some shopping, and we decided to divide and conquer. She needed a few things for her houseplants, so went to Walmart and I headed to the pet store. When I came back, she was absolutely livid. I got accosted by some woman in Walmart, so I asked her the story. This woman came up to me by the potting compost, marching really fast and dragging her adult daughter in tow. Excuse me, do you have Chinese New Year decorations? Where is your seasonal stock? I stood there dumbfounded and said, I don't work here. The daughter is cut up and is trying to drag her mother away, saying that I obviously don't work here, but her mother doubles down. Oh, you look like you work here. I was like, excuse me? You cannot mistake people who are working at Walmart. They all have the blue Walmart vests. They even use them in skits about Walmart. So you know what you're looking at. She had on a good pair of jeans and a the wife had on a good pair of jeans and a nice sweater. No hint of anything close to Walmart blue vest. That is the first indicator. You look like you work here. You clearly didn't put any effort into your appearance this morning. So glad the daughter dragged her mother away. At least she had the presence of mind to apologize. That last part made me twitch. I hate when people insult my wife. After picking her jaw up off the floor, my wife quickly grabbed the last few things she needed and got the hell out of there. Don't think we'll be going back there for a while. I don't know why are you blaming Walmart for some random lady. Historical composer says if your wife is not wearing pajamas, then she's in the top 1% of best dressed people in Walmart shopping at that store. Um, Science and art says you, you look like you work here. Well, you look like you cook meth in a mobile van lab and sell it to the trailer park, but here we are. Carl Carlton, Texas says, answers, you look like you work here. Well, vision care products are in aisle 26. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Ohio only, maybe? You look like you work here looking at daughter. I hope your mom gets therapy and medication she needs to be a better person. I'm so sorry you have to live with this. James Best, you look like you work here. Looking at daughter. Oh my, she has escaped from the home again. Did you need me to call someone to help her help you bring her back? Oh, you look like you work here. No, ma'am, I did not have a blue vest on. I do not work here. Now, Target. Target's a whole other animal. You do not wear a red shirt in Target, especially with khakis. But do not wear a red shirt in Target. Everybody will think you work there. It's ridiculous. Next, we have Overheard. It is entitled Mom and Daughter Shopping at Goodwill. Mom. And then that soulless hoe, Christy Nome, inaudible. Daughter flipping through racks of jeans. Who's Christy Nome? Mom. She's a secretary at DHS. You know, the one who looks like a cheap hooker trying to look like an expensive hooker? Daughter. Oh, yeah, I know exactly who that is. To be fair, half of the MAGA women look like a cheap hooker trying to look like an expensive hooker. Arizona Sycamore says soulless ho. Perfect. Soft Fox says the accuracy of this insult is a masterpiece. Oh, I wonder if they got any MAGA in here. Apprehensive Pop says, I heard she's a bird-legged hoe. Paul Rivers says Christy Nome is a bird at leg at home. Madam King's Madam Kelsington says, why are we hating on birds that bad? Boston Economy says birds aren't real. Oh, yes, I know that birds aren't real. I've said that myself. It was really funny. Next, I have true off my chest. I'm being blackmailed for cheating on my wife. Well, I think you deserve to be blackmailed for cheating on your wife. Don't cheat on your wife. It's not that hard. Hi, all. I need to get this out somewhere. A bit of background. So, my wife is incredible, amazing, brilliant, and the love of my life. Then why are you cheating on her, sir? We both, 33, own a company together that does financial stuff, keeping it vague. It's been very successful. We aren't publicly in a relationship. We don't talk about our marriage or have public social media where it discloses our relationship. Okay, that's really weird. That is really weird. All this to say, to the public eye, my wife and I are business partners, unmarried with our own separate marriages. My wife goes by her middle name and maiden name for work, and by her legal name when dealing in personal matters. Her name is Mary Jane Doe, nee Fish. She goes by Jane Doe when not at work and Mary Fish at work. Now, full disclosure, I did not cheat on my wife. We were at a work function and kissed briefly when arriving in car, and apparently someone saw it. I woke up to this morning to an email addressed to me saying that if I don't want my wife, Jane Doe, find out I'm cheating on her with my business partner, Mary Fish, then I am to pay them off with an amount I won't be listing here, but it's quite a sum. They include pictures of me and Mary together. And then, and this is the best part, sent a link to Jane's Facebook page where she notoriously doesn't post her own face anywhere. Maybe the title should be I'm being blackmailed for cheating on my wife with my wife. I'm most amused and horrified. Thanks for listening, Reddit. My wife hasn't stopped laughing to commiserate with me yet. I needed an ear, needed to get this out. I just find it really wild that nobody knows you're married. That's wild. This is funny as heck. I hope it's real. Logical Phone says, this is a new one. Mysterious One says, I was hooked from start to finish. Me too. Me too. Apprehensive Fix says, I'm not even mad about how fake this is because it's such a fun story. And Bubble Wrap says, I need this as a comedy movie. Same. We do need this as a comedy movie. This is hilarious. K-Jax, this says, this is hilarious, but in all seriousness, you should report it. Most likely it's one of your employees or associates. Yeah. No, you probably should. Empire State of Being says, honestly, I would just go along to find out who it is and then report them for extortion, which is illegal, but that's just me. Mimes Left Boot says, go to the cops. Blackmail is illegal, even if it's attempted by a wanging idiot. Yeah, I'd probably go to the police on that one, especially since it's a tidy sum. It's not nobody's business if you're having an affair. I mean, I don't think you should have an affair. If you were having an affair, it's nobody's business but yours and your wife. That's between you and your wife and your friends, because your friends should be telling your wife, but nobody should be blackmailing you for it. That's crazy. Next, we have What Do I Do? And it is entitled Brother Accused Me of Hooking Up with His Girlfriend. There's, of course, a text of some sort. I just want to be direct with you. I know all about you and what shall we call her? Susan? Susan, and I've known for quite a while. She wouldn't admit to it and lied about it multiple times, but somehow you ended up at her place. I wanted to give you the opportunity to be honest about it with mom and dad or not. It's your choice. Either way, I'm creating distance between us. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons you could be at somebody else's house. Me, 29, male 29, and my 31-year-old male brother, who I'm very close to, has been dating a girl for a few months. Neither I or the rest of the family has met her yet. I think we just read this too. I must have gotten things really screwed up yesterday. Or, well, in my defense, I did this on Sunday when I was really sick. I did all my stuff on Sunday when I was really sick. That's my that's my excuse today. This is from where do I do? And I thought I was doing good today. Dang it. Yeah, we read this one yesterday because it's in here twice somehow. Don't know how that happens. Okay, we'll do this one instead. Oh, I gotta do this. It's so weird. I don't know what's going on. Oh, we read the update yesterday. That's what happened. I read the update yesterday, and that's the original. Okay, now I know what's going on. All right. Hopefully that won't be another one. All right. Someone put this here. All the urinals have one, and I don't even know what that is. Anybody have ideas of what that is? Hunk Hogan says the best possible outcome is just some BS promo for whatever club you're at. Worst possible outcome is something highly illegal in it, or it nukes whatever you plug it into. Best course of action would be to slide them into the urinals and piss all over them. Nothing good will come from plugging that into something. Oh, it must be a USB drive. Effective person says, I was going to say the same thing. Toss it into the urinal and piss on it. Somebody probably accidentally put it on there. Well, no, she said all of them have them. Yeah, that's a scam. Gotta be. Damn you, Scuba Steve says, plug it into your work computer. It'll be fine. /S. Suspicious Bull says, congratulations, you've landed the pink sip virus. Your office is now infected. They'll soon trace it back to you. Good luck finding a new job. Rabble says, plug it into your enemy's work computer. There you go. I am so Roy Batty says, we have thoughts. 1, revenge porn. 2, China. 3, direct marketing. 4, USB killer. 5, a back door. Try it on a TV computer on its last leg that isn't online. Check the ladies' room. Oh. Next, we have from entitled parents. Why do immigrant parents forbid you from dating and then suddenly expect marriage and grandkids out of nowhere? It's not just immigrants, honey. This has been always confused me as someone who grew up in a very traditional, old-fashioned Chinese family in an area with tons of other East Asian immigrants. My friends and cousins and I all have the same exact experience with our family, with our parents. I have no clue where this come from. My parents were very intense helicopter parents when my siblings and I were growing up. I'm so sorry. That stinks. They always screamed at us to never speak to a person of the opposite gender, even in school. Some cultures are crazy. They forbid going to dances because it was improper and we might risk interacting with boys. Oh my. Even the mention of dating was out of the question. Once my dad even screamed when my sister spoke to a gay boy who was our neighbor for 5 minutes out on the sidewalk near our house. My mother screamed when my younger sister was a bridesmaid for her college roommate because gasp she'd be walking down the aisle next to a person of the male gender. How are you supposed to meet a boy? How are you supposed to date and find out what you like about people? I don't understand it. Obviously, my parents are the very extreme end of the spectrum, but I've observed the same exact irrational and bizarre expectation slash attitude from so many of my fellow Chinese, Viet, Korean, and Indian friends growing up. I'm sure it exists in many other cultures as well. I've just had a few testimonies from my closest friends. They forbid dating, and then out of nowhere, they start screaming about why you aren't married and why you don't have grandkids. Gee, mom, haven't met a boy. How could I possibly be married? But where was your husband slash wife supposed to come from? My sisters are now married, and funny enough, I turned out super asexual and don't actually have any interest in dating or marriage. And now my parents are pressuring me to find a husband. And she's got LOL and two rolling laughing emojis. I did date in college. When I finally got away from them, I realized I don't have any interest in it, and I don't like anyone that way. I've explained that their wish came true. I will not be talking to any boys, and they got upset saying I'm almost 30 and need to find a husband soon. No, she doesn't. She's fine. She's just asexual and probably aromantic. They're not satisfied with my sister's marriages either because my first sister married to a Korean man, so he's not Chinese, and my sister married an ethnically Chinese man whose parents grew up in Vietnam, so they don't speak Mandarin. But where does this logic come from? My parents did not have arranged marriages. They hate each other and never got along. They met at work back in China and were both single and tired, so decided to get married to get it over with. Wow. That is not a good reason to get married. How did they think we have suddenly lined up a spouse already after years of not allowing socializing or dating? Why is it so common with immigrant parents? Does anyone else experience the same thing? It's honestly strange. I don't understand their logic at all. Lurch for Life says there was a comedian actor from Pakistan, Kamal, who had a great answer for this. Why did you move to the West if you didn't want me to have a Western life? OP answers, I remember when I was a child, my parents screamed when they saw I was watching some Disney Channel show because it was too Western. I don't know what they wanted me to watch at the age of 8 traditional Chinese soap operas. Nikian says, we didn't have a TV at all growing up, but my very religious American born and raised parents would wig out if their preteen slash teenage daughters read books with characters who kissed. You couldn't even read the crappy Christian prairie novels. I'm pretty sure there's kissing in those. How else are you supposed to know what you want? Just saying. Trin says, I grew up a block over from a very Catholic old school Mexican family. Their mother allowed her sons to let their girlfriends spend the night in their beds, but when one daughter was out all night, her mother kicked her out. One of their daughters was a teen mother, and they told her she had to get married. They were divorced less than a year because he was an abuser. Of course he was. All of her other kids are grown now, and only 2 of her 12 children speak to her. I don't have any sympathy. Her husband passed away just 2 years ago, and he was the reason she saw her kids at all. OP says, OMG, 2 out of 12 is a brutal ratio. It sure is. You know that's a bad mom. Next, we have Oh No Consequences, entitled OOP decides to get wasted with coworkers at lunch and loses his jobs and learns nothing. And it was originally in Best of Redditor Updates and originally posted to Am I the A-Hole? AITA for ordering tequila shots for my work colleagues at Friday lunchtime. Probably. Because you shouldn't be doing that. Originally posted September 25th, 2021. I, 26 male, work in a busy lab, medical diagnostics, and every Friday we go as a team, 6 to 7 people, to a local sports bar to have a team building lunch on the boss's company card. Yesterday, our boss was swamped with deadlines, but the rest of us could go anyway as long as we paid for any alcoholic drinks ourselves. So they're allowing them to drink on their lunch hour. Probably not a good idea. Usually, the boss plus 1 to 2 other people order a small beer with their lunch. So I have consumed alcohol on the clock before on this in this job. I was even thinking about that without the boss there, I might order a big beer this time. When we arrived, though, me and my work bro, 25, were drawn to a new offer the bar had on tequila shots, 5 for $10. In our defense, we just had a very stressful morning, so we proposed to the team that we buy a single round of shots to commemorate it. A couple of our colleagues were a little reluctant, but after a little convincing, we were soon toasting to a morning of hard work. That's when my work bro proposed we order a second round of shots. I have a pretty high tolerance to alcohol, so it was no problem with me. I knew for a fact we had a couple of lightweight colleagues, for example, a diminutive Asian lady who rarely drinks, 23 female, but we still managed to convince the rest of the table to drink with us a second time. After that, the two females with us tapped out, but the three remaining guys, myself included, decided to split 10 further tequila shots. So there were 5 of them. So they've already both all had 2 shots, which is probably about 2 shots too many. In our defense, as far as team building goes, the outing was a roaring success. I think I learned more about my colleagues in those 1.5 hours than I have the last 2 years. Unfortunately, when we got back to the office, our boss could smell the tequila on my breath. My work bro very stupidly decided to be honest and told him that some of us had had 5 plus shots of alcohol at lunch. Over 5 shots. That's crazy. My boss's face turned bright, winging red, and he told us to go home immediately and that it wasn't safe for us to be working in a lab while inebriated. And he's not wrong, but dude, you're the one letting him drink in the first place. Maybe you don't set a precedent. I calmly explained to him that in fact I still feel very sober and I have a high tolerance, remember, but he wasn't having it. Well, yeah, because you just think you have a high tolerance. I'm genuinely worried about what's going to happen on Monday morning. The 2 female colleagues called me and my work bro a-holes for taking it too far and getting everyone into trouble. I see their point of view, but on the other hand, we did have a really good time at the bar. Verdict was a-hole. Omerad said, YTA, I'm pretty sure being inebriated while working in a medical diagnostic lab is a felony. You should be thankful you weren't fired. Pine Box Waiting said, YTA, 5 shots over 1.5 hours and returning to work in a medical lab. Frat days are over, bro. Multiverse Wanderer says, God, I can't even imagine wanting to take 5 shots, fully knowing I had to go back to the office. I would have been absolutely sloshed taking 5 shots in general, even if it was on a weekend night out with friends. Resting Beauty Face says YTA, and the way you describe your other coworkers is gross. Females, diminutive Asian, and work bro. You need to grow up. Throwaway says YTA, expect to be fired on Monday. Update September 27th, 2021, 2 days later. Well, I'm sure a lot of you will be happy to know that me and my out of work bro got fired this morning. HR asked us why exactly we thought we could drink 6 tequila shots and then go back to the lab. All we could think of was that in college we used to work hard and play hard and it didn't affect our grades. They didn't like that excuse. Yeah, in school you're sitting at a desk and studying, you're not doing lab work. Anyway, we're offered a plea bargain. HR accepted our resignation and promised us a passing but not glowing reference for future employers on the condition we don't mention what happened to anyone ever again. Probably CYA. I want to thank all of those that commented on the original thread. I now accept that me and my work bro made a grievous error in judgment because you were drunk. We're not alcoholics, sure, right? Because totally sober people always drink 6 tequila shots at lunch. We're not alcoholic, as someone suggested, but we're not in college anymore either. Personally, I would be laying off the hard liquor for a while to focus on rebuilding my career in medical diagnostics. And if in the future someone offers me a shot while I'm on the clock, I will say no, thank you. Hopefully. I'm not saying that name. Says, my God, it frightens me that OOP was somehow qualified enough to work in a lab in the first place. Who TF wants to take 5 shots of tequila and then go back to work? The OP says, I've had some clients like 5+ DUIs. You'd think the first one would be a wake up call. They'd stay sober for a bit and then relapse, rinse, and repeat. And this guy probably will too. Stirred Sandwich says, but bro, in his defense, bro, he did it all the time in college, bro, so you can't be mad, bro. Dude is way too much of a liability to keep around. Yikes. Damn it, Gravity says, I work from home. I have a high alcohol tolerance. My job is to edit videos for a YouTuber, the least important job any person can have. My professional ethics preclude me from drinking while working. This guy I have no words for, but I don't believe his acceptance of being called the a-hole. I think he simply made that update to placate the masses. This is mildly infuriating. And it is called The Photo Delivery Took of Me. Actually pretty funny. Put some clothes on, dude. Wasabi says that now it's on Reddit for everyone to see. The crying laughing emoji. Oh. Okay, Balls says, me imagining all the drivers meet up at the bar after each shift, competing for the worst pick of the day. This driver got free drinks for days. Some of the memes and emojis are hilarious. Next is Am I Overreacting? And it is entitled AIO, my mom is kicking me out for her new boyfriend. I just turned 18. Oh, geez. So I'm 18 years old, and today was probably the worst day of my life. I got this text from my mom about this guy she's been dating recently, some new dude who's in town. I've only met him once, and he seemed okay, but I didn't really know him. I don't know much about him at all. They've been dating for a couple of months now, and I guess he wants to move in. I got this text while I was just out walking around. I post here sometimes, so I'm using a new alt account so I don't accidentally dox myself. But yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm sitting here crying like a baby. I feel like my life is done. I will show you the texts. And that's because he loves me. I don't want to harp on the same point anymore. I deserve love after being alone, raising you for 18 years. It's time for you to leave. He's moving in. We want to blank slate. Nothing like kicking out your 18-year-old kid. It's not anything other than it's time. You can get a job now. You have permission. Oh, well, thanks, Mom. You're kicking me out and giving me permission to get a job. Jeez. Be free. I will watch from afar, but when you're living the high life in your mansion, you'll appreciate this moment. No arguments. Okay. How is she going to ever have a mansion when you're kicking her out at 18? I don't know if it's a girl. It could be a guy. You're abandoning me over a guy you just met. Dead ass. I just turned 18 and you wouldn't let me work, but now I have to leave with what? I'm speechless. I'm speechless too. I am speechless on your behalf. This makes no sense. Why do I have to go? Like, where even? I'm going to cover your phone for a month. A month. I know fully adult people that have their phones covered by their parents. I covered my kids' phones until they graduated from college, except for my oldest one who didn't go to college. He had an actual job, so he could afford his own phone. You'll also be giving food and some food and time today to pack everything. I've done what the law requires. You're 18. I said no arguments. Let's keep this conversation respectful, okay? Or I can let him talk some sense into you if you're not understanding the situation. And OP just says, wow. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. I'm so sorry, OP. You deserve better than this. Any kid deserves better than this. Either assistant says, "Wouldn't let you get a job." How are you supposed to pay first month's rent and um what's it called? Deposit. How are you supposed to pay that when you've never even had a job? Oh, is he still in are they still in high school? Because I know a lot of 18-year-olds are still in high school. Like all 18-year-olds should still be in high school. That's a discussion for another day. Anyway, either assistant says I wouldn't let you get a job until she tells you to get out. I'd reach out to friends and family. I'd get in touch with local government or something of that nature to see if there's some resources at your disposal. This is like your foster kid, and I feel sorry for those kids. Not overreacting, your mom is an a-hole. I'd let her know if she wants to handle it this way, she will never see you again. That's what I'd do, at least. So, also, for what it's worth, behavior like this translates to her relationship, so I don't doubt the fresh slate be it boyfriend won't be around long. Edit for the thanks for the awards, kind Redditors. I truly hope Alfie finds it since they got 36 awards. Toasted Rage says OP's mom is going to be in for a shock when the boyfriend puts her in debt. Every homosexual does this. Cheats on her, and she has no friends because of how she treated her child. She gets isolated because she was stigmatized by some loser who's only using her for a place to live because surely he's not with her winning personality. No one's panda says, "Today I learned the words homosexual and stigmatized. Thank you for expanding my vocabulary." And OP, no, NOR. Easy Peasy says, I am OP. I am 42 and left my home due to a similar situation at 17. I haven't spoke to my mother since, and you know what? I bet she likes it. Weighing these POS humans that drag us unwillingly into this world just to throw us to the curb for a stranger. Please get therapy ASB. I harbored anger for what she did for almost 25 years. It ate me up and ruined a good relationship. And ruined good relationships I formed once I established on your own. This isn't your fault. It's not fair. Unfortunately, you have to cut your losses and remember that you didn't deserve this. Enderku says this needs to be higher. A lot of legal advice above this comment is good and sound, but OP is 18 and in the trenches of emotional agony. They do not have the space to be thinking about lawyers and taxes right now. They may be unsafe at home. What they really need is one, a place to crash so they have a chance to breathe, and two, someone who's been through similar to talk to. It's very heartbreaking to me. That makes me so sad. Server life is entitled. Dealing with ICE in Minneapolis is hard right now. This is how we get the info from the guys on the line quickly and quietly. The La Migra is code for ICE in the area or outside the door. So my fairy stories you might want to know about, look up Sia Melange or Cafe Latte, particularly on TikTok, but she's also posted everything on YouTube. I think the first Cafe Latte post was like 6 hours long. I've watched it multiple times. I love those characters. Um, so she lives in Minneapolis, so she's got her characters going through it right now. And it's great because the dragon just comes and sits in front of the restaurant and scares the ice guys away. DJM is a top commenter, and she says, "We love you, Minneapolis. Bless you all for working so hard and standing up against this regime. Watching from a boring, calm little city 1,000 miles away where nothing happens." Edson says, "I really hope it stays that way for you. Be safe." And DJ answers, they've been to North Carolina once already, but they didn't stay too long. We showed them some good old Southern hospitality in Charlotte and Raleigh. Bless their hearts. I'm not even Southern, but damn if Charlotte especially didn't rise to the occasion. Proud of them. It's really weird they didn't actually come to our city yet anyway, since we were basically in between Charlotte and Raleigh, and we are known for our sizable immigrant population and our love for refugees, Syrians, Somalis, and many other Africans, Laotians, Montenegrins, many immigrants from all over um, Mexico and central U.S., Ukraine is a whole nine. We also have a lot of armed people here, though. Some even radical left scum like myself own a gun, and we are a stand your ground state. Many of us would be more than willing to go sit in someone's living room and peacefully wait for an intruder if it came to that. We aren't sitting by too quietly, though. We have a strong dispatch verification system at the ready, with a few thousand people trained here if it comes to that. Good. Oh, next we have traumatized them back, and it is entitled Foiled a Scammer with Two Words He Never Expected. As an older woman, I am sometimes targeted by phone scammers. Here's how I handle the latest call from one of these crooks. I will call WBS for would be scammer. I changed his name because I don't remember it. I would just call him Mike. WBS in a gruff, authoritative voice. This is Leading Knowledge 712, me speaking. Oh, is this Leading Knowledge 1217? That's her handle. Me speaking. I never say yes to any question from an unfamiliar caller, so it can't be used to claim I've consented to anything. WS, this is Agent Jack Smith from Border Control, badge number 9570. We've intercepted a large shipment of illegal drugs from Mexico addressed to you. Sure you have. Me, thank you for doing that. WBS sounding a little startled. You could go to jail because it's highly illegal shipment, me. But now I don't have to worry because you intercepted it. Thank you. WBS, after a pause to regroup, don't you understand you're in big trouble and face a $5,000 fine that must be paid immediately? Only a $5,000 fine? That does not sound that bad. Not that bad. Because these are very dangerous drugs. Me, wow, you're doing a great job protecting me from dangerous drug criminals by catching the smuggler before that happened. Thank you for your service. WBS Burn, but the fine is $5,000 and you need to pay it now or you could go to jail. Me, feigning confusion. That sounds terrible, and I'm so glad you stopped the shipment. It kept me safe. Thanks again for protecting me and our border with your diligent enforcement. I appreciate you and hope you put this dangerous criminal in jail. WBS, but at this point, I said thank you and hung up. I had one of them hung up on me once. Calls up and says, um, you've won a grant from the federal government," and I'm like, "I did?" And he gets all excited. You can hear it in his voice. He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "No, I didn't, you liar." And he laughed and hung up. So you can get him to hang up on you too. Thread Stitchin says, I usually adopt their exact tone voice, corny cop voice, try to sell them union memberships. I usually get calls from police union fund and I tell them I'll donate if they donate to the union firefighting fund. I can take a credit card. Heifer Noodle says, I put my tiny human on the phone. They pretend to be an old woman named Rita. You can't very hear very well. It's very amusing. Oh my god. Oh, that's great. I love that one. I mean, I have put my kids on the phone before. But they didn't ever act like an old lady that can't hear. Oh, you have a Rita too? Crazy. Ski Sushi says, I have it. Emily Latila. And Kind says, Rosanna, Dana, never mind. This is Rosanna, Dana. Option B, just send me the drugs, thanks. That would be great. Grundy said they told me they intercepted 2 Glocks, 1 kilo of cocaine, and a 100,000 K or 100K. I told them they can keep the guns and coke if they send me the cash, and they hung up. I'll do it now in a minute. Says my go-to is wait, let me get my dad for you. He's a detective army vet who works in cyber crimes, and they hung up so fast. They hang up so fast. Oh. If they tell me I have to pay them $5,000 immediately, I'm like, "Sir, that is not how, due process works in this country, because it's not." Next, we have Best of Redditor updates, and it is entitled, "My girlfriend, 32, female, has been very sad since she found out her ex-boyfriend is getting married." Yeesh. Was originally in Relationship Advice, posted November 21st, 2021. So I, 30 male, have been dating my girlfriend for about 4 months now. Everything was going great for us till she learned that her ex-boyfriend of 9 years was getting married. Yeah, I can understand maybe kind of being a little upset about that. They'd broken up in June last year and we started dating in July this year. We have tons in common and we really enjoy each other's company. Anyways, last week, one of her old friends who knew her ex informed my girlfriend that he was getting married to his new girlfriend. My girlfriend was shocked to say the least. And when her friend left, she went on Facebook and spent almost an hour looking through his profile. Okay, it was longtime boyfriend, but she must have been curious. But ever since this day, she's been really sad and stressed and keeps spending her time on Facebook looking through everything about her ex and his bride to be. That's unhealthy. She needs to get out. Can you take her out to dinner or something? Take her to a movie. Get her out of the house. Get her off Facebook. She doesn't mean to be doing that. I know she wants to, and I understand the urge. I do. But she needs a distraction from him. I finally asked if he was the one who got away from her. She denied it. She said something along the lines of, "I want to see what's special about her," which is understandable. Like, he was with her for 9 years and didn't bother to get married. He's with this other girl for what, a year? And they're already getting hitched. I don't blame her. I mean, that's understandable. She says she isn't pining for him. He didn't treat her well, and that if he asked, she wouldn't go back. In fact, he had reached out to her multiple times after breaking up, and she turned him down every time. So, Reddit, my question is, if you don't love him, then why be so sad about this marriage? Why keep obsessing over his bride to be? What am I missing here? Blade says he's strung her along for 9 years and he's marrying the girl he only recently met. That's probably where his sadness is coming from. Why wasn't she good enough to garner a commitment like marriage? What does this girl have that she doesn't? Not logical. It's probably what's running through her head, and I think it is logical, and it's sad, and it's saddening. Spellscribe says, yeah, especially if it's a guy who tore down her self-esteem. Revolutionary Syrinx says, it was a huge part of her life for 9 years, so it's understandable that she's grieving. Not that her ex so efficiently moved on. 9 years with someone meant you expected to spend the rest of your life together. It doesn't mean she wants it back, but 1 year after a whole decade of your life, along with hopes and emotional investment that took, what she's going through is understandable. I agree completely. OOP says, you may be right. I don't know the interesting details of their breakup, but she says that they broke up because they couldn't agree on the future. She has mentioned to me that she does want to be married and have kids. So she wanted to be married and have kids, and he told her he didn't want to. That's probably what happened. So it's perfectly understandable for her to be upset by that. Because he essentially lied to her. He just didn't want to have kids with her. But this other bitch is perfectly fine to have kids with. um, Putting these 2 points together, the situation might be closer to what you describe. And to be honest, her ex did sound like a tool. He made 5 times her salary, but they always went 50-50 on all expenses. I don't really have that much of a problem with that. I think if you're using things 50-50, you should be paying 50-50, unless one person wants and needs, or just, I guess, just wants. If one person wants upgrades, then yeah, they should be paying more if they're the ones that have the money. But if you're just living in an apartment together and that's all either one of you could afford anyway, you should be probably splitting that 50-50. On our first date, I looked out to a took her out to a fancy restaurant, which I also want to visit for a long time. We had a gala time, but the next day she called me and apologized and then told me that she would only be able to pay her half of the meal in installments as she didn't have that much cash at the moment. It took me a moment to understand she was talking about the dinner last night. I told her that I invited her, so it was more my treat, and then she told me that her ex-boyfriend made her transfer her share after every outing they had. That sounds very transactional. Yeah, if you're taking somebody out, you should pay for it. So I don't take my husband out. He pays for everything. Until this, until if and until this makes money. Um, her ex-boyfriend made her transfer her share after every outing they had, all through their relationship. It was weird, to be honest, but I didn't probe much further as it was just our first date. Uh, Update November 22nd, 2021, the next day. So I got a lot of advice in my last post. Thank you. Most of it was helpful, with a lot of commenters detailing their own personal and painful experiences with similar situations. It was an eye-opening experience to me, so a special thanks for those commenters. Some commenters were regular Reddit advice to break up, and one of them even called me a cucumber. No, this is not something to break up over at all. Trust me. Trust me. It's not. But let but all in all, making this post really did help me in deciding how to approach this with my girlfriend. So anyways, let's get on to the actual update. After reading the comments and going through some thinking, I decided the best course of action is to talk to her. So I went to her favorite restaurant and got her favorite dish packed, and then went to her apartment. When she came out, I told her that, look, I can't say I understand what you're going through, because I don't. This is something personal to you, and as much as I would like to help you or share some of your grief, I respect your choice and decisions. But as your boyfriend, I do have some rights here, and I'm invoking that right and asking you to not be angry and sad. If you want to be sad, then please be sad on a full stomach, filled with your favorite food. That's all I ask. Hearing this, she became emotional. She said, I haven't been the best girlfriend in the world for the past week, and I apologize for that. It's just that it's been hard for me to see someone whom I spent 9 years of my life with, who I gave a lot of excuses. Now he's just disparaging his own statements. Can you imagine anyone in a 9-year relationship where the couple don't live with each other or don't go on holidays together? They have absolutely no talk of getting engaged or married. Wow, after 9 years, they weren't even living together. That's crazy. Hell, he even got upset if I sent him a text while he was working. Well, me and my ex were like that. On top, he was always used to say that marriage as an institution is archaic, and he won't participate in it. Also, he looked down on the age gap in relationships too. Now he's marrying someone 8 years younger than him and is already living with her and done holidays together too. That's why I've been feeling down. I don't want him back. I've already upgraded to a much higher level. She met me. Of course she did. And just the feeling of wasting 9 years of my life, which is the most painful. So I gave her a hug, and I told her that if she wanted a shoulder to cry on or a mouth to talk crap about her ex, I can do both. So we both shared a laugh. When I was leaving, she asked if she can stay with me for a few days, as she doesn't want to be alone, and I said sure. She came with me, and right now she's setting up her workstation in my other bedroom while I'm making this update. She will be staying with me the whole week. So thank you again, people. You have been of immense help. I'm actually hoping that she doesn't ever leave. She can get rid of her apartment and just live with him. Objective Bug there says there's a scene in When Harry Met Sally that at 9 kind of doesn't make sense. Then rewatching it when I came randomly on TV at 35, just a few days after a long-term boyfriend who broke up with me because he didn't want to get married, got engaged to someone else he had only been dating a few months, it made sense. It's not that I wanted him back, but why after all that time together did he not want to marry me? What was it about me that made him say he didn't want to get married at all when he just didn't want to marry me? Why did I waste all that time on that relationship? 10 years later, I'm married to my husband and he's my one. I wouldn't have anyone else, but sometimes reading stories like this or watching scenes like that, like in the movie, it's in the back of your mind, why wasn't I good enough? Therapy helps a lot. You were good enough, you just weren't good enough for him. Legal Nerd says healthy communication, behaving like adults, Redditors giving sensible advice. For once I felt like I was somewhere else. I'm happy that everyone involved behaved like adults and acted sensibly. Quiet refreshment. Blue Ninja says, I hope the rest of their future relationship goes as well as this update. I do too. I do too. Especially because she deserves it. Next, we have Made Me Smile, and it is entitled When Your Parents Sneak In After Curfew. We don't do curfew in my family. I didn't have curfew. My kids didn't have curfews. What's going on here? Okay. It's 2:34 a.m. That's funny. That's really cute. All right, that's all I have for today. I will be back on Tuesday. Hopefully. Hopefully, it won't hopefully the last 2 weeks will not happen again on Tuesday. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. I doubt that I'll get on here, but maybe. But maybe. So y'all have a good day. I'll have a good weekend. I will be very, very busy and very, very tired on Tuesday because I will have 3 days of very, very business. And that's okay. All right. Bye, biddies. I love you all. Have a good weekend. I love you. Bye. Bye.